I used to live in a city before. You know, every morning, when I'm opening the shutters and when I see the valley, summer, winter, spring, whatever, I always do remember when you were in Paris opening your shutters. Enjoy what you have because it's very, very unique. Very, very unique. What I've discovered also is now when you are replanted, when you are linked to the soil, you cannot leave it. So completely.
It's a beautiful place to stay. I mean, waking up at this almost fairy tale castle, looking out to that beautiful old courtyard. The view is amazing from almost everywhere on this place because we're high up. You overlook the valley towards Castillon. Such a beautiful place.
Is the typical architecture which was at the end of what we call the New Gothic style, which was at the end of the 19th century. At the time when Notre-Dame de Paris was rebuilt, Carcassonne was rebuilt, so the new Gothic. To understand how it works, you must imagine it was the sea. So here you are at the bottom of the sea. So you have different layers of soils which are deposits in the sea. And the last, just we have 20-30 centimeters of earth at the top, and just below it's a limestone plateau. And the valley has been made by the river. So the soil in the river is not deposits, but it's the alluvions drawn by the river. So the soils are completely different and much sandy and clay. So the taste of the wine are different. Château de Pressac is linked to the great French history because it's here that took place the rendition of the Battle of Castillon. The Battle of Castillon, which took place just 3 kilometers far from here, was the last battle between French and English in 1453. When I bought the estate, everything was not in a very good condition, so I have replanted 90% of the estate. We arrived at the average of Saint-Émilion, more or less, which is 70% Merlot, 20% Cabernet Franc, and 10% Cabernet Sauvignon. And I decided to add the 3 other grape varieties which are authorized in Saint-Émilion: Carmenère, Malbec, and Petit Verdot. So the story of the Malbec, perhaps you know, it was imported in the Bordeaux region by the owner of Château de Pressac in the year 1730. And the grape variety was developed in the region from here, and it took the name of the estate. It was called Noir de Pressac, Black of Pressac. So nowadays a lot of people believe that the Malbec is coming from Argentina. No, it's coming from Cahors, then Pressac, then Argentina. So, there has been a testing with decanter of all the classified growth, blind testing with 3 different tasters. And they selected 11 wines at the top. 10 first, classified growth, and Pressac. Blind. 12. So what do we do? And also I have 11.
11 and 12 would be interesting.
Okay.
What do you think?
Even 8 if you want. I know you like 8, no?
I do.
So 8.
Oh.
Then 12. 13 you want also?
Because you never tried 13 anymore. Nobody wants to show it.
Eh? Only the top estates can show. So, more? It's okay? Tell me.
Maybe 15 as well, because
You were yesterday?
yeah, it was beautiful, but it would be nice to talk about it. Perfect.
At 16?
Well,
Let's go.
yeah. Excellent.
Okay, excellent.
Perfect.
It's also interesting for me, to retest all the vintages.
Yes. As always, when you visit the winery, when the owner starts to ask which vintages or what you want to try, it has a tendency to become a small vertical tasting. It's interesting both for me and for the owners because they taste their wines almost every day. But having these small vertical tastings, it's always fascinating. Now the wines I've been following for the last decade are getting into a stage where you really start to see the development that you were always hoping was there, and now it's revealing itself. So wonderful to get to taste these wines again now.
I was remembering the 2008 as more tannic than that. It's much more supple than it used to be. You think so?
I don't remember it as quite as spicy, and I think the tannins are softer. Yeah. I think it's become now it's really enjoyable. Well, it's always been enjoyable, but it's really getting into sort of the age where I really like wines personally. When they're younger, it's more work. Almost like strawberries, which it's not the first thing I think of when I think of Saint-Émilion.
Very spicy.
It's very spicy,
On the nose.
especially on the nose. With very nice vibrancy to it, very nice acidity.
What I remember for 2008 is that we had to concentrate a little to have less juice and more skins. You take some juice out, we had to do that to have more concentration on the 8. We started in the wine business when we were in Paris, and I was a wine lover. I had some money, so it would be fantastic to have my own wine. But I didn't know anything about winemaking. And my wife was originated from Libourne, and she had cousins in Libourne. So I called the cousins. Oh, I would like to buy a small vineyard, just to invest some money for fun. Okay, we do that. So we started with a small estate in La Lande de Pomerol, which was a nice estate. My wife, who was a lawyer, she passed exams for that, and she started to manage the La Lande de Pomerol estate. And after 2 years, I thought winemaking was fantastic, so I stopped my job. And we started here in the region. I was looking for a 3-bedrooms house with a nice terroir. And we were looking a lot of times for a lot of estates, and the real estate agent showed me Château de Pressac. And I told him, "You're completely crazy. I told you 3 bedrooms, not 10 bedrooms. Yes, but it's fantastic. It's for you. It's a fantastic estate." And finally, after 1 year, we bought Château de Pressac. And I don't regret at all. And when I bought this estate, I was thinking I was buying a company. And when I retire, I would sell it. I'm 76, and I'm still working very hard, and I'm very happy for that.
I don't think 11 is better than 09 or 10, but I think it's really undervalued. And well, we're soon to have a 2012 in the glass. I always find that the 11 has more concentration, has more
acidity, more freshness.
Yeah, and much younger in expression than the 08. More than the 3 years suggests. These are sort of the first vintages I got to know with Pressac, and they've always been babies. Now they're finally starting to show more of the complexity, which you always hoping that was there, but you never knew because you never tried it.
Yes, we have been promoted Grand Cru Classé in 2012, according to the wines we have made before. And so for that, we have changed the label to show that something was new. So 2013 was a very, very difficult vintage Usually, for a good vintage, the blooming period lasts 1 week. For 2013, during the blooming period, we had a lot of rain. I remember it was Vinexpo, and in Vinexpo, there was this high water in the fair. We lost a lot of berries because the pollen was washed by the water. And also, as the blooming period lasted 1 month, on the same bunch of grape, you had some berries which have been pollinized at the beginning of the month and other at the end of the month. This means that when we picked the grapes, you had green berries, pink berries, not very ripe berries, overripe berries, and rotten berries on the same bunch of grapes. So it was impossible to make a good wine with that. So my technical manager told me on Friday, I found a density sorting table. There is wine left in France, in the Loire Valley, which has been ordered and not bought. So if we want, we can buy it. So on Saturday, I ordered the new sorting table. We received it on Sunday, and we worked with it on Monday. And usually, when we are sorting the grapes, we eliminate between 5 and 10%. Here, we eliminated 35%. 35%. You have a competition every year, blind tasting for all the cru classés. And the 4 finalists and semi-finalists was 4 estates with this sort of sorting machine.
I've been lucky enough to follow them for 15 years, seeing the evolution year by year. Quality is just going up and up and up all the time. Every single vintage, more or less. Fantastic place to follow. I think the personality of the wines, the personality of the place, the personality of the owners are absolutely wonderful. Pressac is another one of those gems that should be discovered by people.
So it is a big question. Are we making a wine to be drunk rapidly or to keep down? So generally, we have 2-3 levels which are acceptable, and I'm always chewing the more acid. It's not good for the short-term market. We found the soils like that. So I wanted to make a window to see this type. It was not possible. So we have made pictures. So at the top, you have 30-40 centimeters of earth. Then you have 1 meter and a half of limestone plateau, which is rock. Then you have a layer of limestone and clay. Then you have a layer of limestone, which is still creamy. If you come back in some millions of years, you will find rock. And then at the bottom, you have only clay. We know better and better each plot of vineyard, so we can improve the way of managing the plot of vineyard and the date of picking. For example, there is a plot of vineyard on the limestone plateau, which is one of the best terroirs, and the ones who were not very good. They were so-so. And we discovered that when we felt that it was ripe, in fact, it was not ripe. So we had, for all the other plots of vineyard, we were picking when we thought it was ready to ring. And for this specific plot of vineyard, we know that we have to wait between 7 and 10 days more. We don't know why, but now we know that, and it's working. So when you know better each plot of vineyard, you can adapt the way you're working. We went with the Grand Cru Classé Association, we went to Asia. So we went to different countries in Korea, Japan, and so on. And out of 36 bottles I opened, 2 were corked, so I eliminated them. And 4, when I tasted them, is not exactly the idea I had from my wine. So I opened the second bottle, it is as I think it was. So finally, I eliminated 6 bottles out of 36, 1 out of 6, which is a lot. So 2 were cooked and 4 were not so good. So if you are a consumer is opening the bottle which is so-so, he thinks the wine is so-so. So I decided, no more. I don't want 1 out of 6 is too much. as from 2022 vintage. I decided to use technical corks. In 2017, we have corked the same wine the same day with 6 different corks. Technical corks, natural corks, corks with a top, as they have in champagne, and so on. And every year, we are 6 of us, with enologists, and we are testing the corks. So we open 2 bottles with the same corks. So first exercise, is it a difference between the 2 bottles? And the only cork where there is no difference is technical corks, of course. And then we are testing the wines, and globally, the technical corks are very often the one we preferred. It's less open because you have less oxygen. Some people say, you perhaps have less complexity and so on. Yes, but I have no corked and bad bottles because we do that.
Pressac in 16, all the pixels are really getting there because you always felt that they should be there because it was really compact. Now it's really starting to shine.
So this is from the branches from the vine. It's mellow vines. So it's 1 year before, because it has to dry to burn properly. It's 1 or 2 years old. Yeah.
Very intense.
The first time where we really start to feel the terroir through the fruit, because now you have that salinity of the limestone which is coming through. I don't recall that from earlier. That initial, I call it baby fat. When the wine is young, especially with a lot of Merlot, they're really, lots of fruit. And when that fruit sort of mellows down, you get to see all the other stuff which is going on in the wine. And I think this 16 is just gorgeous right now. We tasted a lot of 23s yesterday, and I think that 23 had beautiful fruit and this really, really nice freshness to it. And that freshness also carried the aftertaste a long way, which was really, really nice. There's a fascinating freshness. There's always an acidity, and the fruit, even if it's rich and ripe and generous, it's never too jammy, it's never overripe, so you always have some freshness going into it. It's a really interesting expression in these wines.